Hello everyone, you have come to Tata Comic Preview channel. Let read together. Have fun. Lu Song felt a searing pain when the energy sword slashed at his body. At this moment, fear had completely tightened its grip on his heart, causing him to lose the will to resist. Golden Avatar? Is there truth to the Sky Martial Court's research? Lu Song tried to get a better look at the sword elite in front of him. Alas, he could get a clear look. It was strange. Why did he have no recollection of this elite's face? It was as though he had forgotten what the elite looked like. Even if he did not, what did it matter now? After all, he finally understood the reason Yu Shangrong had lured him here. The energy swords continued their attacks on Lu Song's body, face, and eyes, causing him to lose consciousness. After what seemed like hours, the energy swords finally disappeared. Yu Shangrong hovered in the air as he held his scarlet longevity sword, pointing its tip downward. Lu Song's intact body lay behind Yu Shangrong. However, in just a second, a blast of energy erupted before the body exploded and scattered in the air. The energy swords had completely devoured Lu Song. Ding! Killed a target. Reward, 1,500 merit points. Domain extra, 1,000 merit points. Yu Shangrong did not look back. After all, an elite knew the outcome of a battle the moment he made his move. Lu Song was a 6-leaf elite, and Yu Shangrong was an 8-leaf elite. He could have killed Lu Song with a single sword strike. Moreover, he was not an ordinary 8-leaf cultivator. For someone like him, killing a 6-leaf cultivator was like an incredibly boring chore. Yu Shangrong flipped his palm, and the longevity sword was restored to its original state after a red energy flew into the sword. After he put his sword away, his body flashed out of sight again as he returned to the Thousand Willow Monastery. When Yu Shangrong returned to the Thousand Willow Monastery, Ji Fingxing ran up to him and anxiously said, "Senior. Where's the Flying Star House's Lu Song? We're done for if he returns to the Flying Star House. We can't afford to offend the Flying Star House." "He's dead," Yu Shangrong replied nonchalantly. "Dead?" Chills ran up Ji Fingxing's spine. His eyes widened in shock as he asked how did he die. Yu Shangrong crossed his arms and leaned against the railing. He looked at the mountains and rivers and calmly said, "All you have to do is to swing your sword." Is this how bosses talk? Although this was not the answer Ji Fingxing expected to hear, it sounded reasonable enough. After a beat, Ji Fingxing asked skeptically, "Senior. That's not what I meant. Lu Song is a 6-leaf elite of the Flying Star House. He's a 6-leaf cultivator. Did you kill him?" Yu Shangrong glanced at Ji Fingxing before he said, "He's a weakling. Is there a reason why I can't kill him?" Ji Fingxing was at a loss for words. Yu Shangrong made it seem like 6-leaf cultivators were an insignificant existence. When Yu Shangrong saw the shocked and speechless expressions on Ji Fingxing's face, he decided to explain himself. After all, he would have to stay here for a while. He did not want to seem too eye-catching. When he recalled his earlier words, he said, "If you know me, you'd understand how humble I'm actually being." Ji Fingxing took another step back. A complicated expression appeared on his face. The more he tried, the worse things became. Yu Shangrong decided not to say anything else. He shifted his gaze away to look at the scenery beyond the railing. At this moment, Wu said excitedly, "You're amazing, big brother." Yu Shangrong glanced at Wu. He found this little girl more likable. He said, "It's nothing." Thud. Ji Fingxing's reaction was rather delayed. After all this time, he finally said excitedly, "Brother, you're my big brother from this day onward." Big brother. Then, he shuffled forward on his knees, intending to hug Yu Shangrong's legs. Yu Shangrong frowned slightly. Ji Fingxing's antics reminded him of his 8th junior brother. They were somewhat alike. If it had been Zhu Honggong doing this, he would not have found it strange. However, Ji Fingxing's actions made him feel slightly awkward. In the end, he only pointed at the 3 corpses and said, "Clean them up." "All right. I'll get to it immediately." Ji Fingxing ran down. Yu Shangrong added, "If you run into members of the Flying Star House, tell them you didn't see anyone. Ji Fengxing grinned and said, got it. Wu Wu chimed in as well. Got it. On the main peak of the Flying Star House. At this moment, a disciple hurried into the main hall, bowed, and said, Elder Meng, Elder Lu's life stone has shattered. In the Red Lotus domain, most sects would prepare life stones for cultivators in the nascent divinity realm and above. With these stones, they would be able to confirm the life of death of their members. Nascent divinity realm cultivators were the core power of sections. Most sects would assign disciples to keep an eye on their life stones. If any of them shattered, the disciples would immediately report to the higher-ups. Upon hearing the disciples' words, Elder Meng frowned slightly. Who dares touch Lu's song? Elder Lu brought 3 disciples to the Thousand Willow Monastery. Could the people from the Thousand Willow Monastery kill Elder Lu because they couldn't come to an agreement? The disciples speculated out loud. Meng Chongdong shook his head and said, the Thousand Willow Monastery isn't so dumb that they defend the Flying Star House. Don't spread news about this for now. Investigate it in secret. Understood. Meng Chongdong was lost in his thoughts. Under the heavens, there were not many who would dare attack members of the Flying Star House. He did not think the Thousand Willow Monastery was bold enough to do this. Ever since Elder Yizhen led the others to the land where Luan was, the Flying Star House had lost 4 nascent divinity realm elites. Sky Martial Court? Or was it the 9th Temple? Meng Chongdong thought about the forces that were at odds with the Flying Star House. However, in the end, he still could not think of anyone bold enough to act against the Flying Star House. Moreover, Yizhen was like the sun at high noon now. Meanwhile, in Great Yan's Liang Province City, Hua Yueshing bowed and said, Mr. Seventh, I've guarded this place for a month, just as you ordered me to. The birds did not disturb the common folk. The 2 largest birds flew away yesterday. I don't know where they went. When Si Wuya heard this, he was slightly puzzled. The 9-leaf stage will bring forth disasters. It's not surprising that Jiang Wenxiu drew the man-mans here. However, Master is also a 9-leaf cultivator. Why would the birds leave? At this moment, Zhenghai flew over and landed on the city wall. He said, that's easy. Jiang Wenxiu was able to hide in Great Yan for so long. Given how shocking most of Master's techniques are, it's only natural that Master has his way as well. You have a point, eldest senior brother, Si Wuya replied. Zhenghai stood on the city wall and looked ahead as he said, how's research on the red coffin coming along? We've made 3 copies. However, we aren't sure of the route yet. If we recklessly descend into the abyss, we might get lost, Si Wuya said. That's enough, Zhenghai said. What do you mean, eldest senior brother? I can do it with the progress we have now. After all, second junior brother wandered into the Red Lotus domain without any help. However, there are too many uncertainties regarding the red coffin. There's no need to worry. I'll explain everything to Master, Zhenghai replied. With this, Si Wuya no longer attempted to dissuade Zhenghai. In the afternoon. In the hall. Lu Zhou looked at the kneeling Zhenghai. He stroked his beard and asked, have you thought it through? Zhenghai kowtowed and said, second junior brother fell into the abyss because of me. I won't be able to live with myself if I don't rescue him. Now that the red coffins are prepared, I ask for permission to go, Master. Lu Zhou looked at Si Wuya and said, how confident are you that the red coffins will reach the other side of the shore? I'm only 70% certain. The red runes will keep the beasts at bay, but the details can still be improved. Please give me 3 months. Si Wuya said. Zhenghai prostrated himself and said, 70% is enough. Please allow me to go, Master. Lu Zhou did not expect Zhenghai to be so determined. However, the risk was too great when there was only a 70% chance of success for the red coffin. At this moment, Si Wuya said, eldest senior brother, are you really going? Naturally. Si Wuya nodded and said, I remember that second senior brother doesn't have his scabbard with him. Back then, I inscribed the longevity sword with runes and imbued it with the power to absorb vitality. I have some runes left. I'll inscribe them on the scabbard so that it can detect where the other runes are. It should be able to lead you to second senior brother. When he heard this, Zhenghai was delighted. That's great. This way, there won't be any room for error. That's only an 80% chance of success. If the red coffin doesn't last until it reaches its destination due to damage and attacks from the beasts, I'm afraid. Si Wuya said worriedly. No matter. With my 8-leaf cultivation base, why would I fear the beasts? Zhenghai said confidently as he patted his chest. Zhou shook his head. He had first-hand experience of how fierce and powerful the beasts were when he encountered Qiyao in the black water. Even after using half of his extraordinary power, he could not kill Qiyao. What could Zhenghai do then? Zhou looked at Zhenghai and said, Is your cultivation base at the peak? Zhou thought about Qiyao's heart. That item could provide the user with 1,200 years of life. With that, the requirements of the Golden Lotus would be fulfilled. He had just recently attained the 8-leaf stage. At most, he was back to his peak. He needed more time to reach the peak of the 8-leaf stage. If Zhenghai was already at the peak, he could ask Zhenghai to attempt the 9-leaf stage first. Great Yan's Big Dipper Academy had developed a medicinal pill that extended a person's life. However, for someone already at their great limit, it would have no effect. In the past, his host, Ji Tiandao, had attempted this method in the palace. Therefore, Qiyao's heart was best to be used at the point of a breakthrough. Zhenghai replied, Give me a few more months, and I'll return to the peak of my cultivation base. Zhou said, Wait for a few more months before traveling to the Red Lotus domain. Qiyao can help you reach the 9-leaf stage. But to use it, you'll need to be at the peak of the 8-leaf stage. Zhenghai was slightly taken aback when he heard this. There was no 8-leaf expert in this world who did not want to reach the 9-leaf stage. All of them had tried to reach this elusive stage. Even Yuan'er, who was focused on swordplay, had attempted to kick down the doors to the 9-leaf stage. Qiyao's heart was extremely precious. It was something their master had brought back from the abyss with great difficulty. However, his master was willing to give it to him? How could Zhenghai not feel shocked or moved? However, Zhenghai shook his head and said, It's too precious, I can't accept it. Moreover, second junior brother is in the Red Lotus domain and is surrounded by dangers. If his identity is exposed, he'll be in even more danger. We can't waste a single moment. Zhou stroked his beard as he considered this. The 2 notifications from the system proved that Yuan'er was in trouble again. If Yuan'er unleashed his energy, it would be difficult for Yuan'er to conceal his identity. After a moment, he said, Give me your Jasper saber. Zhenghai did not know what his master intended to do. He assumed his master was going to confiscate his weapon and forbid him from leaving. He kowtowed and said, Please allow me to go, master. Leave your Jasper saber with me today, and you may leave tomorrow. Zhenghai was overjoyed. He said, Thank you, master. Then, he respectfully presented his Jasper saber to his master. After that, Zhenghai looked at Si Wuya meaningfully before both of them left to prepare the red coffin. Zhou picked the Jasper saber up and studied it for a while. He sighed emotionally. This was the first heaven-grade weapon Ji Tiandao had given as a gift. After a few centuries, the saber was now completely in sync with Zhenghai and had reached the peak of heaven grade. It was undoubtedly one of the best candidates to be upgraded into a desolate grade weapon. He had learned about desolate grade weapons through Jiang Wenxiu. This meant there were surely desolate grade weapons in the Red Lotus domain. My disciples deserve the best weapons. Zhou took a shining stone out. With just a thought, the stone hovered in the air as it buzzed. After a moment, it burst into flames. Zhou raised the Jasper saber that was being drawn to the shining stone. Bam! The shining stone and the Jasper saber collided, and the flames turned blue. This was no ordinary blue flame. The tongues of the flame rose in a straight line as it burned, completely engulfing the Jasper saber. The fire crackled, and both sides of the blade shone. The flames continued to burn. Zhou stroked his beard and wondered how long the process would take. In the end, he sat on the rush cushion. Before he closed his eyes, he muttered to himself, let's do a lucky draw. Ding. Spent 50 merit points. Obtained, reversal card x10. Not bad. I'll need these when I'm attempting the 9-leaf stage. Lucky draw. Ding. Spent 50 merit points. Obtained, reversal card x10. Zhou was taken aback. I seem to be quite lucky today. Continue. Ding. Spent 50 merit points. Obtained, critical block card x10. Zhou was puzzled when he saw the critical block cards. They had never been activated before. Why would the system reward him with the cards? This must be a joke. Who can harm me? The next 10 draws ended with him being thanked for his participation. He immediately lost all will to continue. He closed his eyes and meditated on the heavenly writing scrolls. A day had passed. Early the next morning. Sizzle. The loud noises of burning pulled Zhou out of his meditative state. He opened his eyes and looked at the burning shining stone. The flames burned in midair. Strangely, it did not spread. The jasper saber was red. It was dazzling. Swoosh. All of a sudden, the flames vanished. Zhou pushed with his palm out. His energy caught the jasper saber and kept it from falling to the ground. Ding. Upgrade successful. Obtained desolate grade weapon, the jasper saber. Reward, 2000 merit points. Jasper saber. Grade, desolate. Owner, Zhenghai. Zhou could feel the jasper saber was not hot despite being burned, so he released his energy and let the saber drop into his hand. His primal chi surged. Nice. Although he possessed a weapon like Unnamed, when he touched the jasper saber, he could not help but praise it. When he channeled his primal chi into the saber, he could feel that its sharpness had exceeded those at the heaven grade. So this is the desolate grade? The jasper saber looked no different from before, but it was sharper now. Streaks of fluorescent lights would gleam off the blade from time to time. He withdrew his primal chi. At this moment, Zhenghai's voice rang from the other side of the door. Greetings, Master. Come in. Zhenghai opened the door and entered the room. Mingxian and Wuya had come as well. The 3 disciples stood respectfully in the center of the room. Master, the red coffin is ready. I'd like to depart today, Zhenghai said. Zhou opened his palm, and the jasper saber sailed toward Zhenghai. Surprised, Zhenghai caught his weapon. The jasper saber was wrapped in rich energy. He was stunned when he held it in his hand. His eyes widened as he said, my jasper saber. Zhou stroked his beard and nodded as he said, that's right. The jasper saber is now a desolate grade weapon. Desolate grade? The 3 disciples were stunned. In the Red Lotus domain, a desolate grade weapon will be of much help. Zhenghai fell to his knees immediately and said, thank you for the desolate grade weapon, Master. Wuya and Mingxian could not help but feel envious. Master. How did you do it? Mingxian said in a slightly pleading tone as he took out his separation hook. Zhou rolled his eyes and said, increase your strength. Everything will come in due time. Upgrading a weapon earned him 2000 merit points, and it helped improve his disciples' cultivation base. As a result, they would be able to help him gain more points. Therefore, he would gladly do it. Upgrading his disciples was the same as upgrading himself, after all. At this moment, Zhou remembered Qi Yao's heart. Oid forth. Yes, Master. Bring me Qi Yao's heart. Understood. Shortly after, Mingxian returned with the heart of Qi Yao. Zhou looked at it. Indeed, it was too large. He waved his hand, and energy wrapped around Qi Yao's heart. He could sense the abundant vitality in it. Your previous deaths cost you 600 years of life. After your last death, you've run out of life. The redfish heart has given you 100 years of life. Qi Yao's heart can provide you with 1,200 years of life. Take half of it for now. Zhenghai kowtowed, overwhelmed by the favor. Master, I can't possibly accept something as important as this. Your current 100 years of life is somewhat frail. If you don't have Qiyao, you won't last long in the Red Lotus domain as well. How are you going to rescue Old Second, then? Indeed. Zhenghai's first 2 deaths cost him 600 years of life. On top of that, he had lived for 300 years. In theory, he should not have come back to life from his last death. It was a miracle that he did. If he replenished his life with Qi Yao's heart, he would be able to resurrect from death again thanks to the special attributes of the Wuqi tribe. With this, he would have a higher chance of surviving the abyss. Eldest senior brother, you should just accept it. We can't help but worry about you in your current state, Mingxirin said. Zhenghai no longer refused Lu Zhou. He kowtowed loudly thrice. Lu Zhou did not stop Zhenghai from kowtowing. This was because he knew Zhenghai's thoughts. After Zhenghai finished kowtowing, Lu Zhou raised his wizened hand. The scenes of what happened 300 years ago flashed before his eyes. They were master and disciple, after all. After experiencing 3 deaths, his only wish for his disciple was for his disciple to stay safe. He placed his hand on Zhenghai's crown and pressed it lightly. He said sincerely, "Live on."